So domestic abuse is the abuse of a person by a partner or a family member or a loved one or someone that lives in the house. It does not have to always be a romantic relationship. Domestic abuse can be physical, emotional, sexual, anything really. Anything where the person feels controlled or belittled or is being hurt. Is being subject to things they do not want to endure, is being made to feel like they're worthless or nothing. There can be a lot of different types of it, and it's important to try and cover all of those different grounds when we talk about the different ways in which we can raise awareness for this subject. So cases of domestic violence have obviously been affected by lockdown, as we all have. If you imagine all the crazy emotions that we're all going through anyway, and in any normal household, there's bound to be, an upset or an argument or, emotions getting the better of us. But if you imagine that you're someone that is been living with an abusive partner who physically or sexually or verbally or emotionally abuses you during normal life, then I dread to think what that person might be going through now when emotions are even higher and they're not allowed to leave the house. So it's a really, really scary time for those. And I know there's been at least 12 recorded deaths of women at the hands of abusers, which is just awful. I think it's getting increasingly important that we talk about domestic abuse, because hopefully the more we speak about it, the more of those people that are suffering in silence or maybe aren't quite sure whether they're being abused or their abuser has led them to believe that they're worthy of that or that they don't deserve anything better, has mentally abused them into thinking that they're not being abused. And the more we talk about this, the more we shed light on situations, the more we share our stories, the more people that we can help. So domestic abuse is not limited to domestic violence. It can be sexual, it can be manipulation, it can be emotional abuse, as well as physical. I think a lot of people don't realise that they're a victim because their abuser has led them to believe that this is their fault, that this is something that they bestowed upon themselves, that they asked for because they're not worthy of anything. And that in itself is abuse. Coercism or gaslighting is also a form of domestic abuse. Anything where the person is made to feel less than the lovely person that I'm sure they all are. If you think a friend or a loved one is being abused, the best thing to do is to reach out to them and ask them how they're feeling, ask them how their day was, to make sure that they feel loved. And if you can, bring up, the topic of domestic abuse and say, I'm worried about you, and, your partner has a temper and I've seen him put you down at dinner party before, or I've seen her, comment on what you're eating or how you dress or whatever it is. Just ask that person, check in with them, send them a helpline, make them feel loved, because a lot of the time when you're a victim, you are made to feel like you're not loved, that you're not worthy. And that's not true. It's just what that person's pinning on you. So just check in on your friends and your family, just make sure that everyone's okay, and send the helplines and send, websites that have on what to do. Refuge charity is amazing. Call the police if you feel that you are in immediate danger or your friend is in immediate danger, or family member. Report it to the police. But yeah, don't be afraid to reach out. Reaching out is the most important thing that you can do. Okay, so if you find yourself in an abusive relationship, if you feel like what I've said might be related to you, and you feel that you're in immediate danger, call the police, call 999 if you're in the UK. There is Women's Aid Charity, there's the Men's Advice Line. The government has an entire website dedicated to domestic violence rising in the UK, with all of the helplines, LGBTQ, women's only, for children. Refuge, obviously, they're doing amazing work. I've worked with them before and they were incredible with me for my personal experience with domestic abuse. And if you can't speak to a stranger, then contact a friend, contact me, contact someone, but you will be okay. You just need to reach out and tell someone, and they will do their very, very best to get you safe. And I know that there's a lockdown, but there are so many options. There's a safe way to get you out of the house. There's plenty of you can do, so tell someone. Finally, I just want to say, if anyone out there is going through something, I'm obviously not an expert, but I'm speaking from personal experience. And the best thing that I ever did in terms of my healing process from experiencing domestic abuse physically is sharing my story, because there is copious amounts of love and support out there. And the second my article went live, I just had this incredible outpour of love and support and kindness from people, and I know that will happen for you too. And this will pass. You will get over this. You are strong and powerful and incredible, and this does not define you. And I hope everyone is safe, and thank you so much for listening.